This is a two-piece outfit, a palazzo short with a tube bustier and neck crunchies. You want to know how I drafted this bustier? You can continue watching. I'm going to be showing you how I draft this bustier, and then for the neck crunchies, I'll put the link on how I created this neck crunchies so that you can learn. This is Joidala Fashion Guide. Hello, welcome to my channel. Today is the first time you're coming across this channel. You are welcome, and if you are returning to subscriber, I want to say thank you for supporting this channel. Now today I'm going to be making a bustier tube with scrunchie neckline, and if the fabric remains, you're going to be making a palazzo short with it. So let's see how to cut the bustier. Don't forget to like this video, share to others, and of course subscribe if you are yet to. Let's go over to the cutting. This is my fabric. To know the amount of fabric to put on fold, we use our waist, the highest circumference, which is the hip divided by 4, and then we add 2 to it. So the hip is 46 divided by 4, that is 11.5, and then if you add some allowance to that, so I have here 14 inches. So I hope this will be enough. So we are going to rule the starting line. So this is where the fabric stops. So I've just placed my ruler there to differentiate it from the others. I'm going to be having 6 inches off. So from this starting line, I place my tape there and mark the full length of the blouse plus seam allowance. So I'm marking 24.5. The length is going to be 24 inches. So next is just to roll this, to join this line across. Okay, so shoulder to the bust line, shoulder to the under bust, and then we have the half length. So, and then the full length of the blouse or the top. So I'll repeat same this way so that I can have a straight line across. Okay, so next now I'm going to indicate the dart plus seam allowance since you are cutting directly on fabric. So let's quickly label. This is our chest line or the neckline since it's now off shoulder, and then this is the bust line, this is the under bust, this is the waist, and then the full length, or we can also call it the hip line. So I've taken a dart, I've marked a bust span of 4.5 inches. So I'll connect that. I added seam allowance is 4. I added seam allowance since you are drafting directly on fabric. So on this bust line, I'm come down by 1 inch, also go up by 1 inch. Okay. Then on the underbust, I'm taking 1 inch on both sides. Same for the waistline, 1 inch on both sides. So I'll connect that. From the waist downwards, the dart is supposed to be 6 inches long. So that is going to stop here. So I can also just take it down. So I'll just connect that like this. I hope you can see it. See what I'm marking. Then from this 1 inch we came down with, I'm going to mark the curve on the underbust. And then for the upper bust tightening, I'm using 3/4, not up to 1 inch. So at the end of the day, it will be 1.5. So next, I will impute the round body circumference. The bust divided by 4. And then I'm going to add seam allowance. For this neckline, I want my neckline to be 6.5. So sorry, let me just recurve that part. So I'll measure what I have here. Remember that I'm going to use 1/2 inch to join. So let's say we have so I'll mark 7.5. I'll use 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here. So by the time I join the half inch, I subtract it. It will now be 6.5. And then we have a 1/2 inch for seam. There will now be left with 6 inches. I hope you understand how I got this part. This dart, I'm not going to replace it. This is for the upper bust tightening. So I can just as well take this upward. Then we can always shape it later. And then I mark the under bust. (34) divided by 4. That should be 8.5. Then I'll replace this dart. And then seam allowance. Then the waistline. The waist is 36, so that will be 9. I'll replace this dart. So you have 9. I'll replace the dart, and then same allowance, so I'll just leave it like that. Then for the full length, or where we have the top length, I'll use my hip circumference there. My hip is 11.5. Okay, and then plus same allowance. So let me cut this out so that we can see what the front pattern look like. So this is for the front pattern. This is the front pattern, and then the armhole. Remember, is 6 inches off. Because it is a tube, we use 7.5 as armhole. Just cross-checking. So I can go ahead and cut it out. So this is the front pattern. So I'm going to use this to cut the lining and also the wording. The wording will stop on that bust line. Let's cut our back pattern. For the back pattern, we also fold it into 2. We're going to be having zipper allowance. Okay, so it's going to be the same length as well. zipper allowance. So I also mark the vertical lines. So this is the bust line. We don't need under bust, so I'll go ahead and mark the waistline. So this is bust line, waistline, and then the full length. Then this will now be our neckline. I also mark the dart. Sorry, the bust span, half of the bust span. I hope you can see what I'm marking. I'm trying to get the best position for you to see it. So on the waistline, we'll take a dart of 1/2 inch. Go above the bust line. For the neckline, 6.5. So we're actually using 6 plus seam allowance. This is the chest line. I'll put 1/4 of the bust circumference there. In the bust line, 1/4 of the bust plus seam allowance. The waist, 1/4 of the waist. I'll replace this dart. Then I'll add seam allowance. On the down part, I'll put the hip measurement, 1/4 of the hip circumference. Then plus seam allowance. So I'm just going to cut what I have out. So I'll do the shaping when I'm sewing. So let's cut out the and then for this zipper, to avoid zipper bulge on the waistline, I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch, and then I'll slant it to the top. Slant it this way. Also slant it downward. So this is the back pattern. So I'll reshape the others when. So the next thing now is to join the back pattern together, make fabric separately and then lining separately, and then we also join the front pattern separately. When we are joining the front pattern, we are going to add the breast pad to it, and then we join the lining separately as well. I'll come back to show you what we have after joining them together. So this is what the front pattern looks like after joining it. This is the front pattern. This is the lining. So I'm going to use the lining to turn it. So place it right side against each other like this. So use our pin to hold it in place. And I'm also going to be attaching the neck crunch. I'll put a link in the description of how I made this. So after turning, we'll now have this. Okay. So I'm going to close it all around. I'll close the top. I'll leave small space at the side where I'm going to turn it out from. So I'll close here. Close here. Leave the small space. I'll close it down this way. And this is the back pattern. And this is the lining. So I'll place the lining on it. I folded the zipper side. So I'm going to stitch just like the front. I'll stitch all around. I'll leave a small opening here where I will turn it out from. I'll stitch all here. I'll do the same for this other one as well. So this is the front pattern, like I said. I'm already turning it with lining. This is the back pattern as well. So what we are going to do next is to join the side. So join the side using our seam allowance. We'll fix the zip and that will be all. This is Joydala Fashion Guide. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching.